Hello all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to Divinely Decked Tarot and Oracle Reviews done Stacy style. And I'm so excited to be connecting with you guys today. I'm a little behind the times, but as you guys, if you've been, starting to follow me and watch me, you know that I'm, kind of new to this sort of tarot and oracle review, and I'm a little behind the times on these VRs, but there was one that I found really cool to watch. And this is kind of an homage to the Waves of the Soul. And it is the 54321 hashtag. So I thought I would throw my hat in the ring and see what we come up with this. So the first prompt is 5 decks that made me fall in love with reading cards. And I got to tell you, with this whole list, like, it's taken me probably 45 minutes to prepare for this video. Because I was like, oh my God, it's like choosing between your fur children. Like, it's just kind of impossible to choose. But when I was talking about this one, 5 decks that made me fall in love with reading cards, I went right into that space of when I first started to read cards and what were the cards that really drew me in and got me excited about the adventure. And the first one here, and forgive me, I don't have a box for it anymore. It's the Shadowscapes Tarot by Barbara Moore. And I absolutely love this deck. This was one of the decks when I finally came out of the psychic closet. I was really anxious, really nervous. I come from a very religious background, and my family thinks that what I do is devil's work, right? So it took a lot to just, sort of be myself and come into my own. And I saw this on Amazon, this particular deck on Amazon, many, many years ago. We're talking like 14 years ago now, I think. And I was so drawn to it. But I was also afraid, and I was dealing with like scarcity issues, and I had just gotten married and I wasn't allowed to work for the first year of being here, due to immigration. I'm a Canadian citizen first and an American citizen second, and happy to be American. So happy to be American. And when I first moved over, I wasn't allowed to work. So this deck really has significance to me because this is the deck that really helped me to break those barriers of, oh my God, the earth is going to, open up and swallow me whole if I read tarot. And it just had such a gentle energy to it. So let's go through a little bit of it. Of course, it is, I think it's a US Games, if I'm not mistaken. So you've got that US Games typical cardstock. It's got a beautiful back. It's purple. It's kind of like a mauvey purple color, which of course is like my signature color. Everything is purple for me in my world. It is, as you can see, a little bit on the shinier side of things, but it is a reversible card deck. Absolutely beautiful with the detailing. And I believe it's Stephanie Mui Pui or Mu Pui, something like that. I apologize for bastardizing her name. She's an incredible artist. So here, for example, we have the Lovers, and let me just show you how beautiful this card is. We have the birds, carrying the ribbons. We have the sun. We have the 2 lovers entwined. They're a piece of art. We have fairies that are supporting and lifting them up. It is such a gentle energy and a gentle image. Let's take a look here. The 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles was a card that I kind of struggled to really kind of understand. I don't know why, because it's legacy, and I just knew it was a good card. So I was like, okay, I'm all in, like, sign me up. But that 10 of Pentacles energy, when I saw this card, it made me feel really good because we've got this beautiful dragon that's supporting her, very much that, I want to say, familial energy. Let me just fix my lighting here. I don't know why it's being so difficult, so I apologize. Loving the green that is in it, a beautiful soft green energy coming up. And then you've got the purple, you've got this mosaic. So implying that, there's a new portal energy that's coming through here. Just so gentle. This is a gentle deck. I've made a couple of deck reviews on sort of, decks that you need when you're crying in the bathroom. And this is one of them. So here's a King of Cups. We have that beautiful blue energy that's happening here. We've got the sea turtles. They're super soft and gentle energy, and here's the king in all his glory, and he's talking to the seahorse. There's just so much beautiful energy and imagery in here. Here's a wonderful Two of Cups. This is another card that I felt really, really connected to. I love that there's like a little heart above them, almost like the mistletoe. Lots of tree imagery, and she is the tree, and they become the tree. She's wrapped around the tree. I think the whole concept is just absolutely fascinating. This definitely gave me a lot of courage and confidence to step in and read. I didn't feel that the images were scary, so it was very accessible. Queen of Swords, even though this is a card of boundaries, and I didn't understand my Libran rising energy myself, which is, this is kind of like my card. I used to see this card as my mother all the time, and so it would be a little scary. And now, with this particular deck, it's beautiful. This deck, actually, I just had a memory. I forgot about this. I used to make shadow box artwork with this and sell shadow box artwork back in the day when I was doing Body, Mind, Spirit expos when I was first getting started. And this was the deck that inspired it, because I was like, these card images are so beautiful. Like, they deserve to be not just in a box and worked with as a reading, they deserve to be on display. And so I started to create artwork around them so that I could display them in beautiful ways. Here's the Chariot card. These images are very busy. I love to follow Mystic Rob, and he talks about chatty decks. This, I would say, is definitely a chatty deck, because you can look at the card imagery and get lost in it. You can look at it 75 times and get something new and something different from it all 75 times. And at the same time, it is based on the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. And so when you're looking at the cards, you can kind of figure out what it is. It doesn't stray too far from the course. Here's a Ten of Swords, the card of ruin, right? And that death and rebirth. And I love the way it's depicted. Yeah, it still has a bit of, I want to say, a bit of that disturbing quality or that disturbing energy that this card deck can have. But everything is sweeping. It's artistic in the way that it's done. So it's not so scary. It's something that you can subtly connect with. Here's a King of Wands. Always love my wand energy. And he's very powerful. He's confident. There's just a lot going on in this card that makes you feel happy and like it's a yes card. Like, yes, I'm capable of whatever this is. Let's see what the bottom of the deck is. Queen of Pentacles. Yes, very gorgeous in its greens and its blues, but it's not like in your face. I tend to like really bright, bold colors. This deck is not that. It's more of that pastel energy, and I absolutely love it. That is deck one of the decks that made me fall in love with reading. Deck two is the Star Tarot by Kathy McClellan. This has a really deep meaning for me in so many ways. I was going through a pretty rough depression. This was in 2022, I believe. It might have been 2021. I can't remember exactly now. Time just, makes no sense to me, as I'm sure many of you readers understand. And I had saved up a bunch of money to be able to take this tarot course that I wanted to take with Jeff. Oh my God, I can't remember his last name. He was fantastic. He still does work in teachings and all sorts of things as well. And I met, when I was taking this class, it was online, and I was really struggling a lot with just being able to be seen and heard. I kept my screen off, and everybody else was, really interactive. And I would interact every once in a while, but I tend to be more of an observer in those kinds of situations anyway. I don't contribute unless there's something I really have, to contribute. And I met one of my greatest friends today through that course, because she and I both did the same thing. We always kept our videos off. We kept our audio on, but our video off, and would only, contribute from time to time. And we ended up getting paired up. And anyway, we're incredible friends today. I'm just so grateful not only for the course and how it opened me up in a tarot way, but it saved me from myself from a really dark period of time. And I made an incredible friendship that is still with me today. So the Star Tarot was the deck that I purchased to do that course. And so this just has so much love and so much energy on the cards themselves. So it's a larger card than sort of your traditional tarot. I have big hands, long hands, and sort of piano fingers. So it doesn't bother me to shuffle up. But for those of you with smaller hands, I would say just shuffle this way rather than lengthwise. It's got beautiful gilding. Silver gilding, and it's held up well. You can tell it's been used, it's been loved. There's little pock marks in the gilding, but it's a solid paper quality. Like, it's really thick. Like, when I can tap my nails on it and I hear that, I'm like, okay, we're in it to win it. The back, of course, the design is reversible if you like to read reversals, and I just love the blue. I tend to be like the blacks and the big bolds and all the things. The blue just has such a nice touch and that starry energy. So here's the Empress card. And again, another kind of a busier deck. It's certainly not a minimalist deck. The colors are incredible, but there's a story. Every card tells a story. And, here we have a star up here. She's got the moon behind her. She's got all of her creature teachers around her. There's so much abundance. I mean, it's very clear what this card is indicating. A Four of Cups. This is a deck where I started to really fall in love with the Four of Cups energy because, when you're reading it from a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith tarot approach, it's delay, it's disillusionment, disappointment. So it's kind of a wah-wah card. This one helped me to really connect with the energy of it and to think outside the box. That's another thing this deck did for me, is just allowed me to get outside of the traditional meanings and allow myself to see a little bit more behind, key words kind of thing. Here's the beautiful Ace of Wands, loving this energy, of course. We have the beautiful reds and the oranges and the yellows. So it's bright. It's a burst of energy. It makes me happy. It really does. It makes me happy. Also, these cards are like a kind of a matte finish, which I think is really great. Sorry, still trying to figure out the lighting here. Here we have the sun. Beautiful sun card. I love how much there's like layers of yellow in here. So the majority of the color is yellow. You've got these accent colors throughout, but it's layers of yellow. And isn't that true about our truth? The sun is the truth, right? And joy. It's layers of truth, layers of joy. Really, this card really interpretation allows me to go deep with that sun message. Prince of Wands. So in this deck, we have princes and princesses. So princesses are pages and princes are knights. So this is the Knight of Wands. I love the rainbow energy in here. I love the unicorn energy. We've got, Leo the lion. So everything about this, you've got the sort of the as above, so below. We've got the foresty energy that's a little bit darker, and the unicorn is coming out of that, I want to say the earthy energy and coming into the divinity, right? Coming into the light. Just so many deep messages. Here's another Four of Wands with two little bears. This is too hot. This is too cold. This is just right. And they're going after the abundance. They're going after the grapes and the fruit, and everything about this just screams to me, I want to read tarot. I love reading tarot. Eight of Wands. This helped me to really understand that Eight of Wands energy, because I always see things as energy. Everything comes through me as energy. And this was a card that, I was like, oh my God, yeah, this is how I see this card. It's the energy of how I see it. So I felt like she was in my head while we were, sort of looking at this card. Okay, apparently they want us to show the 10 of Cups. So here is the, proverbial ideal outcome. Again, we've got elements of the rainbow in here. We've got the moths for transformation. We've got hummingbirds for that speed, that vitality that's coming up. There's a peaceful imagery that's going on here. We've got a little bit of fish in the cup. There's just a lot going on here. And it gives off that peaceful energy. And let's see, another four of pentacles. So four is foundational energy, and four is also the card of manifestation. So I feel like the message we're getting here as well is this is a great card to manifest with. And that four of pentacles energy, anytime I see a swan, I equate swans to my starseed energy. And so this depiction always makes me happy. It's not about protection so much as it's about, for me, connecting to the identity, connecting to the core essence of who I am. So this card helped me to really fall in love with tarot and helped me to fall in love with myself as a psychic, intuitive, that has confidence in using tarot as a tool. So that is the Star Tarot from Kathy McClelland. Oh, and just as I'm like talking about it, I'm getting nostalgic. So it's a card that's right after my heart. This one I used for years and years. So I need to tell you guys, I am a Gemini moon. So often for me, I get excited. I'm into a thing. I use the thing, and then I'm done with it, and I'm on to the next. I like new experiences, new cards, new adventures. So even making this list, some of it was a bit challenging for me to do, to pick all of those things. But this one, I can tell you, I use this deck faithfully in all of my readings for clients for over 3 years, pretty consistently. This is the Tarot of Dreams by Ciro Marchetti. And I can't believe I have other Marchetti decks. In fact, I love the Oracle of Visions deck. Actually, that could have been in this list too. But this was the one from a tarot perspective that really gave me a lot of confidence and courage when I was throwing my hat in the ring and reading for other people. It wasn't so much about me as much as it was reading for other people. It again is a little bit larger than a traditional tarot. I believe it is a US Games, though, or maybe it's actually, no, I think he's Los Garabeo, but it's a similar card stock. So a little bit larger, kind of like an Oracle deck style. Pretty decent card stock. Not like the best, but not like the worst. Of course, you can read it in reverse if you would like. And I always love the colors and the imagery because, Ciro Marchetti does a lot of like futuristic, but also that Venetian, the Venice energy, where you're using masks and there's the old world mixed with the new world. And I love that. So here we have the Death card. As you can see, it's got a little bit of a sheen to it. I'm not always a fan of that just because I do work with the cards for the channel all the time. So, finding lighting to do all of this drives me nuts. But this card always makes me think of Jesse from Breaking Bad. His face looks a little bit like Jesse from Breaking Bad. So if you ever watched Breaking Bad, perhaps you can, put a comment in there. Do you agree or disagree? But that's what I always think about. And because I think about that, I think about how tortured his character was in dealing with his conscience all the time. And the fact that he's represented on the Death card, which is that transformational energy, that wisdom that wants to come through. The wisdom is trying to bite him. Right? The wisdom's trying to get him so that he can change. He can transform into the next layer and level. It's just really powerful. And they do the Kabbalah symbols as well as the astrological symbols on here. It's a darker image, but yet not like crazy scary. Here's a 10 of Wands image. Always love this, the rewards and the burdens that go with them. I love the style, like the way it's laid out. It is bordered, but the way that it's bordered, you almost don't feel that it's bordered. It's like the border is kind of a part of the image. 5 of Wands energy here. I love that this deck is like so raw. Love this. Ace of Swords. And actually, this is the image that's on the box itself. It comes in a really beautiful box. The only thing about this is when you buy this deck, it's one of those boxes where it's extra big and they divide the cards into two piles. I don't like that. It drives me nuts. But the image itself is absolutely gorgeous. So we've got that Ace of Swords. I love that they've got the element and the sign imagery there. Here we have a Six of Cups. So it's very ornate. Again, that, you know, he's Italian, so there's that Italian artistry, that Italian attention to detail that is in here that, you know, I just absolutely love. Here's the Eight of Cups, and you can see here in contrast there when the card is, I want to say, dealing more with the shadow side of things upright. He uses a bit of that darker imagery, but it's blue, not black. I think that's great. And then when he uses the lighter things, you've got the brighter, bolder colors. Here's a perfect example, Page of Cups, gold energy, opulence, you know, representing royalty, but it's Venetian royalty. So I want to say there's a little bit of that majestic energy, a little over the top, a little bit of the theater, a little bit of the drama coming into the mix. And I absolutely love that. Not that I love drama or anything, but I just love the way it's depicted. Here's the Eight of Coins, a Virgo card, you know, and here, like, this deck helped me to really understand the difference, the true difference between the Three of Coins and the Eight of Coins when you're talking about that path of mastery. And here it is, it's the attention to detail, it's perfecting the craft, it's on that path to mastery. And you know, his depiction here makes a lot of sense. The story in the card resonates with me in a really powerful way. And then what's the last card here? Oh, of course, the Star card. I love the Star. The Star card is always a card that I use in a tarot deck. I'll be able to tell whether I love the deck or hate the deck based on a few cards, and the Star card is one of them. But here she is. She's naked, right? She's pouring out her own alchemy. Like, this is the way she's worked with source energy, and she's added her own color, her own flair, her own, I want to say, experience to it, and now she's putting it back into the world. She's sharing her light with the world. I just think this is so fascinating. So I absolutely love Ciro Marchetti's stuff, and that deck definitely got me very excited about reading cards and falling in love. The next options are oracle cards, and actually I'm cheating a little bit. I've got 6. I'll speed through them a little bit so that this video isn't too long. But the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms is one of the oracle decks by Colette Baron-Reid. One of the very first oracle decks that I ever got for myself. I started off with some Doreen Virtue stuff and very quickly kind of graduated, I'll say, many years ago, graduated into something else. And Colette Baron-Reid's decks, it's interesting. I watch some of her videos sometimes and I don't always resonate with like her or her readings, but her decks speak to me. It doesn't matter what the deck is, I'm going to get it because it really resonates with me. I feel her energy. So, you know, this is a Hay House. Of course, it comes in a really nice solid box. If you're familiar with Hay House books and Hay House decks, it's very on point with that. It's a little bit old school because she's been doing this. She's one of the originals, right? She's been doing this for a long time. So she wrote the rule book on it, right? And so these are larger size, definitely the Hay House size. They've got a sheen to them. The card quality is pretty good. I don't like the shiny in it, but I like the kind of the old school about it. And I love this door. It is reversible if you want to read reversals, and she does write reversals in her book. Of course, it does come with a really great guidebook, as Oracle card books do, and it does have the imagery. It is in black and white. And whenever I would pull this deck out, and I still use it to this day. In fact, I used it just a couple of days ago for my own personal reading. It always gives me exactly what it is that I needed to hear. It's short, sweet, and to the point. So let's just take a look here. We have the Ringmaster of Scrutiny, discernment, clear vision, and details. And this is a good deck for, I want to say, a beginner, but also for someone who is seasoned, because it does have those keywords, but it doesn't have 25 keywords. It's got 2 or 3. And so it's easy to kind of resonate with one, to lean into one. I love that She always has numbers on her deck. I'm a numbers girl, and the imagery is always really cool. Like this guy looks like a Merlin-esque kind of guy. He's alchemizing. He's doing his work. There's books behind him, so like discernment, clear vision, details. He's paying, it's attention to the detail. Let me see if I can get this out of the light. The camel boy, small steps, asking for help. It's a 33. It's funny that I pulled the 33 today. I must be in my ascended master energy. Sorry, trying to get this without the reflection. Loving the imagery. And I gotta say to you, like sometimes I find the old school style decks, the imagery to be a bit cheesy, like on the cheesy side. This, I'm okay with it. And maybe it's because I've just worked with it for so long that I've just kind of fallen in love. It's a comfort deck for me. The Lady of Lightning, surprises, sometimes shock, total paradigm shift. 35. This makes me think of Uranus, right? Like the planet that is going to do crazy things. Let's take a look here. The Metal King, discipline, armor, boundaries. The imagery is dark, so it lets you know, okay, you're dealing with something a little bit on the heavier side. But the writings in the book itself, I mean, it's clear cut and to the point. It's not going to sugarcoat it, but it's also going to give it to you with practical guidance, to let you know that you're not alone in that. Here's the Swan Queen, transformation, intuition, and patience. The Hungry Ghosts, obsessions, scarcity consciousness, attachment. These are the kinds of cards that I pull when, like, I'm talking myself in and out of things, when I'm maybe in a little victim mode. This is going to give me exactly what it is that I need to hear. The Keeper of the Scales, fairness and balance. It is based, I would say, all of her card decks, I believe, are based on, some element of the tarot. And you can see that often in the cards. Here's a beautiful one, this number 1 in the deck, the High Lady of Love and Compassion, reverence, kindness, and consideration. It's got some whimsy in it. It's got some vintage in it. She deals with, I just turned the thing over here. It deals with fairies sometimes, angels sometimes, real people sometimes. So it's a relatable deck. Here we have the Spiral Dancer. This is one of my favorites. Circuitous Route and Perception. It's a 5. So the colors that she uses, it's like comfort food for me. And I would use this for clients when I was just kind of getting started. But I also use this for myself on a very regular basis. And I still, to this day, do. So, it got me loving reading cards, and I'm still loving using this particular deck. All right, so now I've got 2 from Alana Fairchild, and I'm going to kind of speed through this one because I couldn't choose between the 2 of them. I got the Kuan Yin deck before I got the Isis Oracle deck, but the Isis Oracle deck it sent shivers down my spine. I connected with it so well. This one, I love it because it's gorgeous. The imagery is beautiful. The words, the descriptions, the Oracle deck, the Oracle book, the messages in the Oracle book, I connect with them. They feel good. But this one, OMG, I'm in love. Like I'm in love. Even after all these years, I lean into this deck all the time. This speaks to me. This could actually be a deck, I would say, that was made for me, which is another prompt today. But I'll just kind of go through the Kuan Yin Oracle. So this is Blue Angel, and I love anything Blue Angel. They do it right. Beautiful box, solid box, gorgeous guidebook. You've got the card imagery in there. It's like a little novel. This is like a meditation book, where you pull the card and you meditate on the card. You could do a card study of this deck. The back of it, it's not reversible, but OMG. And, it's decent cardstock. It's that shiny, which I'm not a fan of, but because it's older school, right? It's got a beautiful border. So it is a bordered deck. But the border is a little bit different on every card, which I find really interesting. Look at this imagery. Sacred River Yangtze. I mean, she's just gorgeous. She's breathtaking. And this is an Oracle deck that I Like, sure, I can use my intuition around it, but I always go to the book. This is a deck that I don't really use on my channel so much, because I keep it for myself and because I really do enjoy reading Alana's interpretation. You know, what was the author thinking? What was the artist and the creator thinking when they created this? Maiden Magoo. Like, the imagery just speaks to me. It's absolutely gorgeous. Drink from the Emerald Fountain. You know, we've got Kuan Yin with her multiple hands. It's like multiple hats. Veil of Shadows. Check this out. Like, it's just, the colors are stunning. The detail is stunning. But the focus is on the Kuan Yin figure. It's not a whole lot of other busy stuff going around it. It's getting right to the heart of many hands of the goddess. So the imagery is beautiful. The imagery speaks to me in a really deep way. And this is just a fun deck that really got me opening my mind to possibilities, other possibilities when it comes to the deck. But this, oh my God, Isis Oracle. So part of this obviously is that I'm very drawn to the Egyptian aspect of me. You know, I connect to Sirius energy. I feel I identify as a starseed. I've always been drawn to Egyptian stuff. Even as a small child, I'm going to date myself now. I'm forever 30, peeps. I'm forever 30. So just remember that. I remember watching Leonard Nimoy doing his narration of I think it was called Ancient Civilizations or something. It was a documentary that would show on Sundays all the time. And I used to watch it after we went to church with my grandfather. And oh my God, I was always drawn to these places. And, you know, even as like a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, I knew I had been to those places. Like, I could tell you, you know, all sorts of things about them. And I was just so fascinated. So this deck calls to me because of that. And a lot of, you know, Egyptian themed things are called to me. But I mean, it's a solid book. I've used this guidebook, I don't know, like a billion times. You know, she writes a novel. She gives you the meditation. She gives you an incantation to do. She gives you a lot of information to consider. I mean, it's fantastic, you know, especially if you're really wanting to do a deep dive for yourself. The imagery on the back is really kind of cool. Again, shiny, a little bit old school, thicker and a larger, you know, sort of oracle sized deck. Blue Angel, same kind of card stock as the Blue Angel. Check out these images here. Look at this Eye of Horus. Like, lots going on, but it's a great story. And what's really interesting is there are a few cards in here in this deck where I literally see myself. Like, I'm like, how did she know to put me in this deck, in this particular card with this particular image? Chariot of Ascension, spiritual work of the higher initiate. We'll see if I'll pull that one. I'm not going to bother looking for it, but I love this. Mother of life, nourishment of the golden grain mother. So again, this is a deck that I don't necessarily use on my channel. I could definitely read it intuitively. I know the deck so well now that I actually know most of the meanings of the cards off by heart based on what Alana has channeled through it. But this is a deck that I like to just kind of keep for myself. Temple of the Black Obsidian, the Dark Healing Chamber. So I get a lot from the imagery, but really it's the book and it's the messaging that really draws me to it. Scales of Balance, Ancient Tantra of the Soul. This card deck brought me so much comfort, but also so much self-awareness at a time when, I won't say I was struggling, but at a time when I was so hungry and thirsty to know myself, to know who I really was. And this deck just opened that. It blew it wide open. Ancient Power Mysteries. Hear the rattle of Isis playing. Oops, I keep wanting to turn everything over. Let's do 2 more here. The Dark Mysteries. Enter the chamber of the dark goddess. Like, just, I don't know, like whatever the model was that she used, you know, to create this imagery, I feel like I'm almost looking into my own face. Pillar of Light, Descent of the Star of Isis. So this deck just, oh my God, this deck could very easily have been this deck was made for me. I'm just realizing that now, because that's also a That's a prompt here too. Maybe that 45 minutes that I took to figure out all of these decks, I should have taken another 45 to get my shit together. 4 decks that challenged me in a good or a bad way. Okay, so the first deck that I'm going to go with actually is the True Black Tarot. And I'm going to tell you right now, everybody loves this deck. Well, most people love this deck. And I was so excited to get this because the imagery of the deck, like just a solid box here, the imagery on the deck that they show, or that they showed when it first came out, really drew me to it. I love this. It is only in darkness that we see the stars. So, shadow work. And I was really open to all of that. Now, I am a person that is really uber sensitive when it comes to animals, animal cruelty, things happening with animals. Like I can't even watch Disney movies. It's a thing. I know it's just part of my sensitivity. I know there are other people out there who have the same thing, so I'm not completely alone. But I wasn't expecting the level of violence that is basically throughout this deck. So I'm happy to have it, and I really don't use it very much. It's challenging for me because of the imagery. So, it's got this beautiful book. You can tell I've hardly used it. But I love it. The sort of the basic symbols of the images, it's kind of like a watered down version of what the card is in the book itself. So it still gives you a connection to the meaning that you're tapping into. I do like the meanings that he shares in this. It's a different perspective on the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith. I love the descriptions of it. It's just the imagery on the cards that's a challenge. Here's the back, great quality, super thick. This is like, it's almost like, what do you call that? Water resistant. It's got a really cool sort of space age. I want to say it's almost like looking at the top of the Death Star. On the back of it, it's reversible. Like the imagery is absolutely gorgeous. This is totally a Stacy card thing. The black, the matte, the rose petal feel on it, the minimalist sort of approach to this, that it's just got that one color really is the green. You get a little bit of the light, the white in there, but it's a green color. I mean, it's smooth, it's crisp, it's clean. Again, we've got another cups here. That was 4 of cups. Here we have the 10 of cups coming. And again, minimalist and allows you to really go into your intuition to get messaging and information from it. It kind of gives you a hint, an essence. It's like the appetizer of the meaning of the card that allows you then to go deeper. And we'll see if we come up with some of the animal things. Again, I just keep pulling cups, so apparently it's a cups day today. 6 of cups. There's a lot of gold energy in here. Let me see if we can come up with something other than cups. This, I believe, is pentacles, if I'm not mistaken. The Queen of Pentacles. Here she's sitting very regally with herself. There's a snake that's connecting to her. She's holding a ring in her hand. There's a bird that she's speaking to. Here we have a little baby with the butterfly. This is the Fool card, the Fool energy. So like this imagery is beautiful. The card quality is incredible. It's like I have PTSD with it. Like when I pull these cards, I get worried. Is it going to pull an image of the poor rabbit getting stabbed in the heart, like that's my challenge. Again, pulling another cup. King of Cups. Okay, apparently I'm liking the cups today in this deck. Let's see. Here's the Tower card. So the Tower's all right. We've got a hint of a dog, sort of. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, there we go. It's like a shiny little filigree that's on here. I like the imagery of it because it's like a statue that's breaking apart. So it's a part of you that's kind of breaking in half. And what are you going to learn? What are you going to find in the cracks of that? Here's the Empress. Again, we have a lot of that beautiful gold energy. We've got the honeycomb. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. You've got the honeycomb imagery, the work that goes in to getting all of that prosperity and abundance. Here we have the 4 of coins. We've got a spider web. We've got the blue butterflies and the moths. So there's a transformation that's happening here. The magician card, really cool. The figure, he's kind of floating. You've got the infinity sign here. You've got a little bit of the Death Star in the background, which is really cool. Here's the sun. So again, peacock energy that's coming up through here. It looks a little bit like peacock. It's also a bunch of sunflowers. So depending on how you look at it, you get, sort of different imagery. Okay, here's a safe one. We've got a beautiful fox, the 9 of cups. The fox is sleeping very peacefully. Here we have a beautiful ace of swords. I love the imagery. Like I said, it's when we hit those really dark images, and I guess I'd have to find one now because it's not coming up. Maybe I've just programmed myself to not receive those. And someone suggested that to me too, like removing the cards from the deck that disturb you, but it's like a whole suit. So then I just don't feel like then I'm able to really get the right messaging from the deck. Here's a beautiful temperance. Here is looks like the 3 of, I'm not even sure what this is. I don't know if it's a 3 of swords, 3 of cups, I'm not sure what this is. I'd have to look that up. King of swords. His head's cut off. That's kind of interesting. 2 of cups. Here we go. Okay, this is the one. Whew! And right away I had to look away, and I'm looking into my camera and I'm seeing it on the camera. So it does evoke a little bit of disruption for me. So this card, this is a card, and this is the concept of the cards in this deck that are challenging. And the swords suit tends to have a lot of that. So that is a real challenge for me. The High Priestess. Again, beautiful imagery, that minimalist energy. But because I'm constantly like in a state of, oh my God, is this the card that I'm going to see the image that I can't get out of my head? It's a challenge. The Judgment, beautiful Judgment. I might, just as I'm talking this through with you guys, I might actually use this just as a major arcana, because I don't think there's anything too harsh for me in the major arcana of this deck. And that way I can make use of it more. Destiny. Here's a beautiful Destiny card. And again, the head is a portal. Very unique looking. Here we have a 9 of wands with the wolf that's a little bit mad. Here's the Hierophant. The Emperor. Here's another image that's a little bit disturbing to me because of the animals. This is like a phoenix rising, but the phoenix is like, I feel like the phoenix is a bit trapped. So that's a little disturbing to me. Of course, that would give me a lot of really interesting information, but it's just hard for me to look at. So here's the King of Pentacles, Knight of Swords, 5 of Swords, 6 of Swords. Let's see here, the Hermit. Beautiful imagery of the Hermit. So yeah, that's why I chose True Black as a deck that I find really challenging to work with. And I'm really glad that I talked it through with you guys today, because I think I might just use it as a major arcana. Another challenging deck here is the New Era Elements Tarot, Eleanor Piper. I got this deck because I was really in the mood to look for and sort of expand my horizons a little bit with decks. To get something new, something that's a little outside the box to sort of complete and round out my collection. And I thought when I saw it online, I thought that I really liked the imagery. I thought I could get into it. This is also a US Games deck, a 2018. So it's a really nice box. And the imagery is more modern. And I've been trying, at that time, I had been trying to get some more modern feels. I wanted to kind of break out of more of the cartoony stuff. And so this deck sort of stood out to me, and US Games was running a special. So I thought, okay, I'll give it a shot. I've barely even used the book here, the guidebook, but it's a nice solid guidebook. Here the cards come with a spread suggestion on the deck. It's typical US Games. Same card stock, card size. I like that it's a bit of that sateen finish. So, as you can see, the reflection isn't as bad on here as it is with some other cards. There's the hint of a bird. on the top here, which I think is really cool. So maybe I shouldn't have pointed that out to you guys because it means that it's not reversible, but I don't read reversals, so it doesn't matter so much to me. So I apologize if I just ruined something for you. And then let's just kind of see where things are at. So it's kind of got a little bit of that monotone, that sepia energy, which I thought was really cool. When I was looking through it, 7 of Wands is failure. Daughter of Earth, Daughter of Pentacles. So a real image. 4 of Cups, comfort. 5 of Wands, defeat. So the reason why I find this deck challenging, I think, is because I was doing the right thing by stepping a little bit outside the box for myself, trying out something new and different. But I think because I'm such a color girl, that this doesn't really speak to me totally in the ways that I'm used to a deck speaking to me. And there are cards in this deck that I can really resonate with, like this one in particular, Father of Air, King of Swords. I love this imagery because I understand this story. I think of like a Buddhist monk or, a Chinese, it's that Chinese wisdom, right? And I say, okay, that makes sense. There's wisdom involved in here. There's intelligence. There are, years of experience, and, they're ancient, right? They've been on the planet for a really long time. So they know a lot more than younger souls. So that makes sense to me. Here's destruction, right? And we've got a vulture bird and a bunch of vultures here. The 10. So like it resonates on some levels, and on other levels, I find it difficult to get the messaging from this deck. And so I find in the end that I don't pull this deck out as often. But it's the kind of deck where when I do want to get, like, say I've got a problem and I need some like out of the box thinking guidance for myself, I go to this deck to try and kind of break myself out of the box that my mind can be in. Not everything can be bold, beautiful colors, sunshine and daisies, wine and roses. Sometimes life does feel a bit sepia, a little bit black and white. 5 here, the disappointment. Son of Earth, the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like the imagery of the people speaks to me even more so than some of the other imagery in the deck. Your Mother of Fire, Queen of Wands. Like, she looks like she has been through some shit, but she also looks like somebody who gets things done. And I can, like, that stands out to me. That speaks to me. I want to say this deck also challenges me in the ways of, because it's got keywords rather than the traditional sort of titles to things. It also allows me to kind of think outside the box a little bit, and maybe not, like, sometimes my mind will go into the, okay, well, what is the suit of this deck? What actually is this card deck? And really, I feel like what this deck is always trying to get me to do is to let go of all of that and to just say, what is the picture telling you? Lean into the feeling of that picture, right? Like this, I mean, I know 6 of Wands is victory, but if I didn't have that, and I had to figure out what card this was connected to, I would say, oh, this is a victory card. So this could be the Chariot, or this could be, 6 of Wands. But it might not be that at all. It doesn't have to be that at all. It's like an invitation to just go into the imagery and see what the imagery gives you. Mother of Air, so the Queen of Swords. She looks like a Queen of Swords. She's confident. You can tell, like, you don't want to mess with her. She's a badass. But she also is thoughtful. She's having fun. She's enjoying her day. She's enjoying her time with her people. Son of Water. So that's that Page of Cups energy. The Chariot, speaking of the Chariot. So this is kind of interesting because it's like a big machine thing. And you don't often think of that. So then I'd have to go into the picture a little bit deeper to see what the message is. What is the message it's trying to give me? And this is not a picture that I'm really drawn to. So it's kind of like it challenges me to go in and do the work, to sit with it. It's almost like homework. It's like it challenges me to get outside of what I know. Again, comfort zone. the Emperor. So we've got Lincoln, Abe Lincoln, being represented as the Emperor. So that is that New Elements tarot, and that is why I chose this as a card deck that challenges me, because I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. The third one here is the Out of Hand Tarot deck, 2022, Jamie Sawyer. I chose this one because I got this obviously in 2022. It was a Kickstarter project. I've done a full review on my channel, so if you're interested in checking out the full review of this. What's funny about this deck is I got it, again, at a time when I was really trying to broaden my horizons with tarot and just get out of that, same old Rider-Waite-Smith. And I got it, I looked through it, and I just kind of put it to the side. I just did not connect with it at all until here we are in 2025. And I have to say to you, man, oh man, do I ever connect with this deck. It's like buying a book and you're not sure why you're buying the book, but you're buying and it sits on your shelf for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden it makes sense. You're ready for it. That's what this deck has been for me. So it challenges me in a really positive way. It's got a really great guidebook. No pictures of the imagery in here. It's just the writings, but I feel like the writings and the musings are really thought-provoking, short, sweet, and to the point. She talks about the Easter eggs in all the cards that, because there are no people in this deck, there's just people's hands in this deck. She helps you to sort of see where she's taken the original elements of the Rider-Waite-Smith into each card, but she's really modernized it. And so beautiful card stock. It's that rose petal finish. It's a great, quality of deck. It's reversible. She has another deck called Pocket of Peers that also has the same card back. Not a fan of that so much, because then I just feel like it's maybe it's part of a series. Maybe that was the point, but it confuses me. I wish that it was a bit of a different card deck. But let's just take a look at it here. So here's the Ace of Wands. I mean, it's bordered, but it's like the border is part of the image itself. And yeah, I don't need people to tell me the story of what this is. Ace of Wands, it's inspired action. So here we have a paintbrush, and the person has painted a portrait, or not a portrait, has painted a landscape, has painted a picture. Like, it's very clear to me. Judgment. This challenges me in such a great way. It gets me excited about the messaging that I'm learning. It helps me to think outside the box. That's where I need a lot of the help, and the challenge for me is in thinking outside the box, because I'm a Virgo a lot of times, so I overanalyze. Then I'm also an air sign in every other freaking capacity, and so I'm always in my head about things, and sometimes I can get too structured with that. This deck challenges me to see, like, Judgment is one of my favorite cards, but yet if I were to look at this card without the key word on it, I wouldn't necessarily at first know what it was about. I'd have to really kind of examine it, sit into it, pay attention to all of the little details. Then I'd get it. The trumpet, right? The trumpet sounding, somebody wearing feathers on their coat, on their jacket, they're playing the trumpet. Somebody is pointing up. They've got a tattoo of the graves on their wrist and their hands. We've got the mountains in the background. So, the clouds, the air energy. So there's a lot to these things. And the challenge really allows me to go deeper into the messages, like the star. Oh, look at this. It's Cassiopeia. Oh, I never saw it in that way. Oh, what do you think this star is? How does this connect? It evokes a lot of internal conversation with myself. Whereas other times, because I read tarot all the time, I can easily just look at it's the Judgment card. Okay, I'm going with the basics. This forces me into a deeper conversation with myself about whatever questions I've asked for myself. It kind of encourages me to go a little deeper. 7 of Cups, the choice. She's got tickets. It's like she's at a carnival and she's won a bunch of tickets, or maybe she's won all these tickets at skee ball and now she gets to pick her prize. What's the prize? 4 of Pentacles, cracking open a safe. It's just, I just love this imagery because it really helps me to like modernize, to bring to light what it is that I'm seeing, feeling, and experiencing in terms of messages. King of Cups, someone, he looks like a therapist, he's having a conversation with somebody. Nine of Swords, there's a lot of contemplation, overthinking, writing too many things out, getting too caught up in the head. Queen of Swords. This is a great one. Boundaries, right? It's about boundaries, thoughtfulness. And she's got a couple of notebooks. She's got some journals. She's got her laptop open. I mean, she's doing the work. She's laying out the plan. Here we have the Page of Pentacles. I love this, the Page of Pentacles. So that the curious energy that's coming up and coming through, wanting to learn. Nine of Pentacles, all of the abundance, the generosity that is there, the attention to detail that has gone into perfecting, this gift that somebody is sharing out in the world. So definitely this out of hand tarot it challenges me, and I would say it challenges me in really great ways. I feel good when I'm pulling out that deck. And finally, we have the Guiding Light Tarot. This challenges me because it is so off the mark in terms of what we assume a Rider-Waite-Smith based tarot is going to be. This is Victoria Ivanova, and it comes with her little card in the back. It comes with a card deck. I'm sorry, a card book. It does have color imagery. Color images of the cards, which is really cool. But check this out. Okay, so standard tarot size. It's got a little bit of a sheen to it. I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little bit shiny with some translucent, sort of light energy in it. It's an excellent cardstock quality. Is it gilded? Oh yes, it's gilded. So we have a beautiful shiny silver gilding. Check out these images. 10 of Cups. So it's not a pip deck, and yet it's a pip deck. And I'm usually not a fan of pip decks. 9 of Pentacles. So you've got the 9 Pentacles showing, but where with this card do you get the traditional, 9 of Pentacles message here? I see it as like the determination, the work and the effort that goes into perfecting your craft, sharing of your talents, sharing of your light with others. It's the child who, learns to play chopsticks on the piano, and then 10 years later, they're performing a concert, at the Met kind of thing. And it's showing, and they're sharing in their gifts. Where do you see that in this card? When I look at this card, I'm forced to kind of go into more of a meditative state in order to be able to get the messaging around it. Page of Cups. This is typically a card of creativity, creative endeavors. Here we're seeing his lungs. It's being focused on the breath of life, right? Breathing life into something. He's got this big cloak. There are waves of, maybe it's sound, maybe it's water, however you choose to interpret it. We're seeing the third eye being highlighted here. So receiving information, it takes a while. It's not an easy, I got the Page of Cups, like it can be if you want to. Ace of Pentacles. So planting a seed. There's not a whole lot going on here, and yet it invites you to lean into the image. Another page, Page of Pentacles. And here we're seeing almost like a distorted face. We're seeing the body in a distorted face. So depending on how you're looking at it, you're going to get different information. Here's the Fool card. The Fool is beautiful. It makes me think of like Antelope Mountain, right? Where the wind has swept through the canyons and has left behind all of these gradients of color and sand and dirt. 5 of Pentacles. So again, not a pip deck, but yet has elements of the pip deck. And yet there's a lot going on here. There are 4 that are, pentacles that are coming at you that all have the star in there. And the 5th one is dissected. Okay, so why is it dissected, right? Five of Pentacles is typically a card of worry. So how does this get you to the space of worry? You can see almost these gradients of color. It's almost like rain coming through, but there's nothing in this imagery that brings you back to the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. The Magician. So this is alchemy, a card of alchemy. We don't even have a face here. We just have the infinity sign. And we've got this, it feels like a figure. It's a hooded figure. We're seeing something underneath a draped cloth. What is there? Okay, I guess we're going to do two more. Here's the Six of Swords. The Swords energy is very much like this. Again, kind of a little bit of that pip deck energy, where it shows a lot of these intersecting swords together. But each of the intersections, I want to say, gives you a different image of something else. So pip deck, yet not a pip deck. And King of Wands. So spiky helmet, side profile, seeing some of the internal workings of what is going on, cloaked figure. So this card deck challenges me. I want to say I love this deck. It challenges me in a lot of really cool ways because it forces me to really kind of use my intuition, use my spidey senses to see what's going on. 3 decks that I would recommend to anyone. So this one's going to be super fast. This is, of course, everybody knows this. It's the Lightseer's Tarot by Chris Ann. Obviously, I recommend this to anyone, especially people who are just beginning, because as you know, good cardstock, reversible background. This was a Kickstarter. It's now mass production. This is my favorite card. Like, I think this is my favorite death card ever. Is the Death and Rebirth, because it helps you to really understand, okay, you're walking away from something else, but you're going into something even better. So open yourself to that process. The colors are fantastic. The imagery speaks to you. It's modern in its approach. Here's the High Priestess. The colors just wham, like they just speak to your soul. This one of my favorite cards ever is this Four of Swords. Just, you know, what does this image evoke? Peace, rest, safety, security, that you're loved, that you're being nurtured and cared for because you're in a nest. You know, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to rest up. The Chariot, movement. And this card is definitely based on the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot. So, you know, you're recognizing these images. They make sense. Mr. Neo was coming up to say hello. Hi, Neo. A Five of Cups, the grief card. You know, she's not crying. You can tell she's sad. She's got her foot in the, you know, in the cup, and it's swirling into a portal here. You know, is she getting lost in the portal? Is it time for her to go into that portal? Is it time for her to look up to the sky? She's got a cup behind her that is full of jewels. And this is just a deck, and you guys know this because I'm sure you've all seen this before. It's everywhere. This is a deck that is just so relatable. It makes sense. When you look at this Ten of Pentacles, you can tell that it's legacy related, it's family related, ancestry, people having fun. There's abundance here. There's a lot of success. And the Fool card, right? She's getting ready to do kind of a dive backwards. It's that trust fall energy. She's supported by the crystal. She's going into the flower of life. The sacred geometry is supporting her. So yeah, I highly recommend this deck for anyone who's just starting out with tarot, because it is a Rider-Waite-Smith based tarot. And I want to say it's easy. It's easy to read. It's easy to get the message. This deck is called Tarot of the Sacred Kingdoms. This is by Earth Moon Magic Tarot, I think. Sorry, I don't have the box with me. The box is in a box in my garage. I absolutely love this deck, and I would recommend this to anyone as well. So it's got that matte, almost a rose petal finish, but not quite. Great quality. Check out the imagery. I mean, Seven of Cups. Doesn't this just call you in? Doesn't it just pull you in? It makes me so happy. I call this deck a gentler deck, a deck that gives me the truth, but gives it to me in a way that is very palpable. It's like reading a fairy tale in the afternoon. The imagery really speaks to me. It's soft in the way it's presented. I love the writing. We have, of course, it's gilded. Sorry, it's not gilded. This is a matte finish. It's bordered in gilding, and it's this beautiful aqua blue gilding, which of course is right up my alley. Here we have the Queen of Cups. And when we're looking at that Queen of Cups energy, she's got all of these beautiful fireflies around her. You wouldn't expect that for a Queen of Cups, but she looks so serene, right? She's not in blue. It's not obvious that she's the Queen of Cups. And yet, if you really go into the imagery of it, it makes sense to you. Yeah, she's feeling. She's in the realm of the psychic, the intuitional. She's someone that you could trust with your feelings and emotions. You could have a conversation with her. Here's the High Priestess. I love this. So it feels a little more like a strength card than it does the High Priestess because of the animal imagery. And yet, look at her. Like, everything about this says this is a woman who knows some shit. So when she says something, we'd better listen. And it's not because she's intimidating. It's not because she's misusing or abusing her power. It's because that's who she is. That's what she represents. This is a card deck with an extra card in it, a couple of extra cards. And one of the extra cards here is the Celestial Weaver. I like to see this all the time as that weaving your magic, manifestation, co-creation. So this deck, I feel like, even though it's not like all the time, like super obvious, super clear cut, I recommend this to anyone, A, because the imagery is so beautiful, and B, because when you're going into the imagery, you're going to get something. You're going to have a feeling. Like, this is the Five of Swords. So Five of Swords is conflict. But when we look at this card, what are we seeing? What are we noticing? What is what is the intuition speaking to us? I'm seeing reflection. I'm seeing a front and back image. I'm seeing a wand, not a sword here. So I like that it's blending some of the elements as well, because it gives you a more in-depth definition of what is transpiring in the card. Here's the World card. So going to a different world, coming from a different world. The Devil. Love this. The Devil just kind of is in the rock, and it shows up a little bit. It's highlighted a little bit with the fire. Fire brings light. Fire also tears things down, cleans things up. Nine of Swords. So Nine of Swords in this deck doesn't feel as ominous as a Nine of Swords feels in other decks. So I highly recommend this one. I would recommend that one to anyone, even a beginner. Simply because the imagery is beautiful. Here is the Winged Enchantment Oracle. This is my third pick for 3 decks that I would recommend to anyone. I absolutely love this deck. You can see this was chewed up by one of my fur babies that has crossed the Rainbow Bridge. So I keep the deck, even though it drives me nuts. And normally I would just throw it in a bag, but it has special meaning and significance. But this is by Leslie Morrison and Lisa Hunt. And the reason why it's just a like a cigarette pack, which is why it's not in great shape in the first place. I don't always like those. It's a US Games. It is ginormous. These are really big. I've got big hands, and I have a difficult time shuffling these, so I always sort of put them on the side. You absolutely need he even chewed some of the cards. So yeah, that was my Vader. Rest his soul. So here we have a book. It's a small book, but you need to have the book in order to understand the messaging in the cards. And I love that it's in poetry. It's in poetry and prose. So, it gives you the information. It changes the tense in the center of the message. Then it goes back, and then it gives you this beautiful, like, 4-line affirmation for yourself. And I just love it. Of course, it's purple with this beautiful gold. I've used it a lot. It's kind of I want to say that sheen. It's got that sateen sheen to it. Huge. These are just huge. Check out these cards. It's a great quality, by the way. So here's the Wren. And you can see here that it's busy. There's a lot going on in this imagery. And I'll read one to you guys. 33, starling. So you're able to see here that it's angels and birds. It's people connecting with this deck. Rooster, 30. Look at all the coloring that is in here. So let's just take a look and let's read rooster. Let's find out what rooster's all about. Rooster, I am rooster, the rising sun and the break of day. I am vitality. I am sexuality. I am the eternal matrix of fertility. I am the time to act and the need to use force in creation. I am fire and momentum. While the feminine nurtures all things created, I am the force that shapes the created. I will guide it. I will give it life. I will mold its most useful form into place. Now is not the time to tend to worn out things, but to light the fire of new life. While you can acknowledge those times of stillness and acceptance, I assure you this is not that time. I am Creator God, wielding the power of seed and continuity. I am the domain of reproductive potency. Unleash potential and start making things happen. I will give you the new dawn you seek. You are eternal potency. You are conception. You are dawn's triumphant herald. You are rooster. So you can see how you absolutely need the book in order to understand the messaging around it, unless you happen to be, very well versed in birds, which I am not, even though I am the black feather intuitive, and I connect with that kind of energy all the time. I don't know, what a chickadee is. I don't know what a rooster is. I use the term chickadee all the time for my niece and my stepdaughters. That's how I use the term. But I would need to have the messaging around that. Seagull. Look at that imagery. So again, you can get lost in the imagery, but I feel like the deck itself is also just really fun. It's fun to explore. Here's a condor. This is actually a little scarier one. Here's a nice gentle one. Sparrow. So I recommend this one, Robin, to anyone, because I feel like it's short, sweet, and to the point. It gives you the information, but it gives it to you in a, I want to say, kind of a flowery way, a more appealing way. All right, now we are at, let's see, what have we got? Those are what I would recommend to anyone. We've got 2 decks that I feel were made for me. So as I said before, I could have chosen quite a few, especially the Isis deck, but here is the Sacred Creators Oracle. This is by Chris Ann as well. This is, I think this is Hay House, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is Hay House. And I don't know if this is as well known as, of course, her Light Seers Tarot. But this one just, oh my God, like it's funny because like the imagery is a little bit different, but it's the messaging and what this evokes. So the book is really thick. I use this all the time. I use this guidebook constantly. She gives you essential meanings, self-care meanings. So like the reverse, she gives you, the spiel on the card itself. It's very empowering. It's also very direct. And then she asks you questions that get you thinking, allowing you to go a little bit deeper with the cards. So the card quality is very similar to the Light Seers, maybe a little bit on the thinner side than the Light Seers Tarot. Same back imagery, just now we've got the gold and the white. And check this out, Nourish the Sacred Feminine. I believe I also did a full deck review of this deck. Fierce Serenity. I always seem to pull that one when I'm pulling this card, pulling this out. External validation. So I love the imagery. It's simple in its approach. Overrate your intuition. The colors are divine. And it really allows you, I want to say, to do the work. Cozy up with risk. Like you can't mistake that messaging, right? Cozy up with risk. Okay, it's time for me to take a chance on something. Feed your artist. Change maker, make waves. This just, it speaks to my soul. I am a highly creative person. Celebrate your wins. I'm a highly creative person. Sometimes when I'm doing my work, my journaling work, tarot journaling work. I want to just get right to the point. I got 57,000 other things to do. Let's just, not beat around the bush. And this deck gets me there every single time. I enjoy this. I actually take this deck with me pretty much everywhere I go. When I travel, this deck goes with me. And then I chose this one, the Chromatic Fates Tarot. This is fairly new to my my collection, and I absolutely love it. This could very easily have gone with the next prompt, which is a deck I can't shut up about. This could definitely be this, but I chose it as it's meant for me because, first of all, it's just gorgeous in the way that it's all laid out. It's in this beautiful magnetic box. Color, what a deep and mysterious language, the language of dreams. I mean, it's color. That's me. I'm a color girl. I'm also a little bejewel bedazzle, and that's what these cards are. Everything is gilded. It's a beautiful gilded gold gilding on the side. We've got bejewel bedazzle throughout all of the cards. It comes with a beautiful colored guidebook. It is a collaboration deck, which sometimes can be hit or miss, but this one is a real hit. That there's a real continuity, there's a real flow with all of the 78 different artists that participated in this deck. The colors and the imagery in it are incredible. Again, we've got this beautiful navy blue. We've pulled the swan. This is the Ace of Cups. We've got that gold filigree, the gold gilding. Everything is bordered, but it's all based on different colors. Here we have the Lovers. And I love this imagery. It's almost like sea green. What I also love about this particular deck is that the colors don't necessarily go with the way you think it should go. And I love that because it causes you, again, my challenge is always thinking outside the box. Here's the Judgment card. So you've got a hint of the beautiful angel that's coming out, but you're not seeing anything that's dead, that's coming to life. You're just seeing all of these lights that are rising, that are going higher. It's ascension and all of the gold that's throughout it. I mean, it's a little futuristic. Here we go. This is the Four of Wands. A very interesting depiction of that. Let's take a look here. Here's the Knight of Wands. They're all mixed up here. Five of Coins. So it's almost like not a Robin Hood, a Red Riding Hood, right? Little Red Riding Hood and the wolf. Here's a beautiful strength card. This might be one of my absolute favorite strength cards of all time. And I've only had this deck for a few months, but this deck was definitely made for me. The Star. Not what you would anticipate. And yet I'm in love. I'm in love with this deck. This deck could definitely be a deck that I can't shut up about. There's no doubt about that. And finally, we're at a deck that I can't shut up about. And so, like I said, Chromatic Fates could definitely fit that category. But here we are with the Dreams Within Dreams. And this was a Kickstarter program. Trin, I think, is the artist. At any moment, you have a choice that either leads you closer to your spirit or further away from it. Thich Nhat Hanh. I adore this deck. The box is really good quality. I use the guidebook from time to time. It's pretty small, short, sweet, and to the point. It's color, which is kind of cool. It gives you just enough. I want to say just a taste of what you need. I also did a full deck review on my channel for this if you want to see more. Again, great quality, traditional size, rose petal finish. It came in gold gilding or silver gilding, and I'm a silver girl, so I went with silver. It is not gilded on the sides, but it's got a lot of that gilding on the top. Nine of Cups. What a beautiful card. It's colorful, it's bright, but it's not in your face. King of Wands. Surprise, surprise. Here's a Phoenix. The Emperor. Oh my God. So like when I look at these cards, it speaks to my soul. You know, this Emperor, like clearly you're looking at him and you're going, okay, I don't want to mess with this guy. You know, this guy might be a little stubborn. This guy does not look like he's going to be willing to to open up and to take your advice or to take your suggestion. But man, oh man, do I feel like he's going to work on my behalf? Hell yeah. Right? I feel safe. I feel protected. 5 of coins. She's crying. She's out in the wilderness. She's crying. And the wilderness is the concrete jungle. I can relate to this. Knight of Wands. Look at this. And I love that it's depicted by divine feminine energy in here. It's the warrior energy that's coming up and coming through. And the fire is the focus, not the knight. Wheel of Fate. You've got the, sort of the 3 muses that are coming up here and playing their games, keeping you on your toes. Page of Coins. The snapdragons, right? Or not snapdragons, Venus flytraps, right? Page of Coins, that's interesting. He's curious. He's learning. He's kind of almost a little scientific about it. He looks a little fairy-like. The Magician, the Alchemist, very studious in what it is that he's doing. He's got all of the resources that he needs at his fingertips. The coloring is beautiful here. Knight of Cups. So you don't expect to see a Knight of Cups riding this big giant koi fish. And yet here we have it. The giant koi fish. Here's the Traveler, the Fool card. A little bit of anime. You're not seeing the Fool's face. You're seeing the Fool's journey ahead. And the places that they'll go. Here is the Page of Swords. I love all of the coloring that is whipping around him. The air is motivating him. Yes, he's got the sword, he's wielding the sword, but I feel like it's really that he's learning how to master the element. 8 of Swords. This is a card of entrapment or a card of liberation, depending on how you choose to view it. And this beautiful bird, he's listening to the beautiful bird. He's reaching out for help. There's hope for him. 10 of Coins. What a beautiful energy. So not a coin in sight in this card. And yet I understand exactly what this is. She's connecting to her loved ones. She's connecting to her ancestors. She's offering gratitude. She's saying, what can I do next? I'm breaking out of patterns and cycles. Here's another beautiful strength card. It's almost got a little bit of that Raphaelite energy, a little bit of the thinking back. I always see the strength as sort of the ego card as well as that empowerment card. She looks a little bored. So I would say here, her ego is getting in the way of her being able to kind of move forward in life, but she's protected. And maybe it's time now for her to step outside of her box a little bit. This deck, no matter what kind of reading I'm doing for myself, no matter what energy I'm in, this is the deck that I grab because I feel like the messaging and the imagery, here's a Judgment. I love this Judgment card. The messaging and the imagery really just speaks to me in a way that I completely understand. I don't know that this is going to land for everyone because it is a little more cartoonish, a little more anime. But it is the bright, bold colors, and those always speak to my soul. I feel like this was a complete surprise to me when this deck showed up in my life. I thought it was going to be something different. I didn't think I was going to connect to it at all because it was a little cartoonish. And what this has done is it has opened me up to that style of tarot because it does speak to me in a really big way. So I can't say enough about this deck. I come back to this deck all the time. I've had this deck now for, I think it's 5 years, and I never get tired of it. I never get sick of it. There are a lot of other decks that I have connected with in my life where, I'm all in. And then when I'm done with it, I'm done with it. I just retire it. It's a different energy. I don't connect with it anymore. That has yet to happen. Because it's rare that I stay with a deck longer than, I want to say, 6 months before I'm on to the next. So that is my 54321 hashtag, whatever this is, VR. I hope that you enjoyed watching some of my faves. I really enjoyed connecting with you guys in this way. I just love talking tarot and oracle. I can't wait to see you guys on the next video. Until then, be safe, transform well, and we will see you on the flip side. That's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. It was great to connect with you guys. Please like, subscribe, and comment for more content like this. And feel free to follow me on Blue Sky for even more content every single day. Can't wait to see you guys next week for another installment of Black Feather Couture, Divining the VIP Life.